So here come the teams out of the tunnel. It's time for NPL Men's New South Wales action from Leichhardt Oval. APIA's home away from their Lambert Park home this evening as they take on Sydney FC. Teo Pellizzeri with you for this one. Pleasure to have your company on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. And APIA getting a feel for their home ground for the Australia Cup tie, which will be coming up on Tuesday against NPL Queensland leaders Peninsula Power. But 90 vital minutes await in the meantime in the short term, mainly because APIA are in the rare territory of a 3-game losing streak, and they need to bounce back if they want to keep any pressure on Marconi, who at kick-off will be 4 points clear at the top of the NPL New South Wales table. Sydney FC, all sorts of top 6 implications. They walk out with a couple of their main rivals for spots in the top 6, Sutherland and Wollongong, having kicked off half an hour ago. We will keep you across all the permutations. So let's get to the teams. APIA Leichhardt have made 3 changes to the starting 11. That was defeated 3-2 away at the Sutherland Sharks last weekend. Goalkeeper Oliver Kalatz in number 1, 4 Aijin Kishimoto, 6 Franz Deli, 7 Jack Stewart, 9 Presley Ortiz, 11 Rory Jordan, 14 Max Court, 15 Temba Moatamalo, 21 Michael Kuta, 25 Kyle Shaw, and 99 is Franco Farinella. So the 3-ins are Moatamalo, Kuta and Court. And moving to the bench, Saya Kambiashi, Sean Simmons and Fabian Monge. They're joined by Alexander Parks, Michael Conestabo, Jordan Segreto and Eddie Caspers. Out of the matchday squad for APIA go Fong, Shuriaga and Pitchin. And for Sydney FC, they were 3-2 losers to UNSW away at the Village Green last week, and they make 2 changes to the starting 11 from that game. Alexander Zavadinos wears number 30 in goal, 4 Kalen Marshall-Witt, 8 Sam Lancaster, 9 Zach Fowler, 10 Tay Headley, 14 Jared Middleton, 15 Zinedine Ardanzia, 19 Mitch Glasson, 27 Lachlan Middleton, 33 Marin France, and 34 Tyler Williams. So in come Ardanzia and Williams to the bench. A couple of youngsters could make their debuts in Orson Conroy and Joshua Brissett. And out go Reef Farias and Ethan Dyer. And on the bench, Jared Williams, William Pizzuti, Junior Conde, Orson Conroy, Josh Brissett and Corey Cronin. Just the 6 on the bench for Sydney. That whistle gets us underway, and kickoff taken by Lockie Middleton of the Sky Blues, and out for a throw-in immediately. Tonight's referee is Sophie Allum, assistants Liam Smith on the near side, Sebastian Ruskin on the far side, and Kai Jobson is the 4th official.
Number 21, Michael Kuda. Number 25,
so the context for APIA is they are 4 points behind Marconi on the table, and they can close back to within 1 with a win and put the pressure on Marconi before their match later. As we see the ball squeezed out for an early corner. When they met at the Linden Sports Centre earlier in the season, it was a very comfortable 2-0 win for APIA Leichhardt. So they would love something similar here tonight. But this Sydney FC team continue to battle for a spot in finals. They're doing extremely well for an academy team. Perhaps their exploits only matched by those of Melbourne City in NPL Victoria, of any academy team around the country at the moment. Here's an early corner. Can they take a shock lead? Comfortable header away from Farinella. Back out to the corner, take it Tay Headley. And this time out for a throw-in. As far as Sydney are concerned, they kicked off on 34 points tonight. Sutherland, who are drawing scoreless at the present, away to Manly United, are on 36 on the live table. Rockdale play tomorrow, and then Wollongong on 32. They're currently losing 1-0 to Sydney Olympics. So there is a battle royale for spots inside the top 6 at present. As we see a cross here from Headley, looking for Glasson, and it's a good confident claim from Kalatz as the goalkeeper puts gloves on the ball for the first time tonight. Out to Jack Stewart, who did score when the teams met at Linden earlier in the season. And now Presley Ortiz, a double for him in the defeat away to Sutherland last week. Here's Headley with an attempted through ball. And cleared from the centre of defence. Great to see Temba Moatamalo making his return to the starting 11 for APIA. It's physical early. And here's Tyler Williams, one of the 2 Sydney FC-ins, taking possession here. He rolls it to Sam Lancaster, very left-footed player. And you'll notice that if you watch him closely throughout the game. This is one of 5 matches going on this afternoon in NPL Men's New South Wales. We'll keep you posted with what's happening around the grounds. I can tell you that Sydney Olympic lead 1-0 against Wollongong Wolves thanks to Sebastian Kukushka. Manly and Sutherland a 0-0 after half an hour. SD Raiders trailing 1-0 to Blacktown City in a match which has big relegation implications. And kicking off at the same time as this one, that's slightly ahead, maybe a minute or two, is Northwest Sydney, who are scoreless against St George. So tomorrow you've got St George City, I should say. We'll stay with play here. Rory Jordan picking off a bit of a shallow clearance, and he's going to weave through and be denied the chance on goal. He was just tumbling off balance ever so slightly, and no touch from either keeper or defender, and it means it's out for a goal kick. But yes, tomorrow's games, St George FC versus UNSW, Sydney United against Rockdale, and Marconi against Western Sydney. So Marconi will be watching on tonight. They might have a scout or two in the venue. They might just be sitting back watching the stream, but no doubt they will be keeping a close eye on their nearest title rival and whether they can close the gap to 1 point or whether it will be 3 or 4 at the end of tonight's action. In what has been a pretty compelling 3-team title race, Marconi are just starting to separate themselves, and APIA need to lift their form to close the gap. Here's an opportunity for Kyle Shaw to step in, and he clears the ball. Williams, opposing centre-back, answers. Now down the right side, that's got too much on it. Away from the run of Glasson. Be interesting to see how the forward line functions today with Glasson and Fowler starting together. You don't see that too often. Marin France will be playing on the left side of the front three, and then Tay Headley in behind them, number 10 shirt, number 10 position. Here is Temper Muatamalo, back to his goalkeeper, Oliver Callatz. Franco Farinella appears to be lining up as a left back tonight. Sean Simmons is on the bench. Battle for possession down the wing. Farinella slips, and that will give possession to Sydney FC. Caelan Marshall-Witt starting at right back for the Sky Blues. There's been an equaliser around the grounds for Wollongong, so they are now level 1-1 with Sydney Olympic. Muatamalo onto the chest of Ortiz. Still inside the defensive half, though, for Apia. Farinella. And the ball, a well-struck pass that did find its way to Ortiz. And I will correct myself, Michael Cooter is playing at left back tonight in Farinella. He was just covering in that position when he popped up before, but get to the Apia back four at the next break in play. Shaw's got issues here against Adanzia, eventually able to win the ball away. Farinella to Ortiz. So tonight it's Aijin Kishimoto playing at right back. He was in at centre back last week against Sutherland. Muatamalo next to Carl Shaw, and then Michael Cooter has come in on the left side of defence. And Apia just struggling to emerge out of their defensive half at the moment. Pitch in pretty good condition at Leichhardt Oval. You can see the rugby league markings on it. It has already hosted a couple of women's matches earlier today. Truth be told, the crowd was bigger for the women's game. There's a lot of junior players and parents in, and they've all cleared out for the men's game, unfortunately, so we don't have quite the same level of volume in the crowd that there was for a very entertaining 4-1 win for the Apia women earlier this afternoon. Here's Marshall-Witt. He's going to turn back inside and play the ball to Middleton. Now battle for possession. Max Court trying to come away with possession. He's just going to duck back in midfield. Playing to Franz Deli, his second start in a row since signing from the MacArthur Bulls. Now Rory Jordan. Back to Muatamalo. Court. APIA starting to get comfortable on the ball. Delhi. Now Farinella. And that's a bustling run right down to the line, and some protestation of interference there on Michael Kuda, but the referee disagrees. It's out for a goal kick. And one thing that has been characteristic of Sydney FC against the top three, Marconi, Sydney United and APIA this season, is they've not been afraid to play with the back five. They've not been afraid to defend for their lives. We've seen them defeat both Marconi and Sydney United at home this season. APIA were able to get the better of them, though, down at Rockdale earlier in the campaign. So there's no doubt Franco Parisi and the APIA staff would have studied what Sydney will do if they score first, and that will be to defend their lead. So first goal absolutely vital between these two teams. And that long clearance there is going to run out for a goal kick. Blacktown City have taken a 2-0 lead away to SD Raiders. So potentially massive 3 points incoming for them in their battle to avoid relegation. Here's Court. Can't find a way past in midfield. Delhi. Now Jordan backtracking. Moata Marlow just strikes a long ball well over the head of Ortiz. And that will bounce down to Zavadinos, enjoying an extended run in the first team. Now with Gus Herfsloot having the mandatory layoff for A-League players. Here's Fowler. He's been on a good scoring streak of his own. And now Headley. See the backtracking Jordan able to pick his pocket, and the ball is cleared away. Ortiz. Really entangled by Sam Lancaster, who eventually gives away the free kick. Well, Wollongong have gone bang bang. They now lead 2-1 against Sydney Olympic, so that does have implications for Sydney FC. It means that on the live table, Wollongong are now level with them on 35 points each, and they both have -1 goal difference. So Sydney FC only ahead of Wollongong on goals scored for now on the live table. But we're not even 10 minutes in here. Plenty of this contest still to be played. France knocks the ball down. Williams took on Court. Went to ground. Farinella steps through impressively, and now he's going to distribute to the left. Rory Jordan, one chance already, and that's going to slide out for a goal kick. So a couple of opportunities for Rory Jordan on the left wing for APIA, but the execution hasn't quite been there in these first 10 minutes. Goals flying it around the ground. SD Raiders have grabbed one back against Blacktown City, so they now trail 2-1 in that match. It's a cool, still night, no wind. There were some clouds overhead when we had the sun up, but thankfully no rain threatening just yet. Hopefully not at all. Here's a long ball from Marshall Witt. Fowler nods it to his own advantage, running out of space against the line, and Kishimoto clears away. Attempting the cutback. Now Kuda to Ortiz. Knocked it up to his own header. Jordan arriving just half a step late. Glasson. Jordan still buzzing around, and he's able to spill possession out to Presley Ortiz on the left wing. Now he switches over to Jack Stewart. Can he stamp himself on the game with a run here? Stewart dispossessed. Not quite able to get going there. Glasson. And now Fowler. Jack Stewart will be priority number one, you suspect, for Sydney FC today, because he scored both goals in the first meeting earlier in the season, but he's been starved of the ball so far over on the right flank. Most of the play has hugged the outer left touchline so far in the contest. Here's Franz Delhi with a bit of open space in front of him, And his eyes do dart out to the right, but he doesn't like the options, and he went back into the traffic. And, well, if you could hear it on the directional microphone, Jack Stewart not best pleased that he wasn't sent down the right channel on that one. Right in front of the APIA bench, we're watching on Franco Parisi, Adam Dipuzzo, Adrian Uccino, all standing at the moment, pondering. Here's a crossfield ball now to Kishimoto. Stewart, his path blocked by Jared Middleton. And Moata Malo is going to trust in his goalkeeper with the back pass. Jordan, perhaps been APIA's best attacking outlet so far. Gets a pass, relaying the ball on for Kuta. Inside, Farinella is going to shoot from distance. And he puts it over the crossbar. It just kept rising. Lucky ball kid. Didn't have his eye on the ball behind the goal there, and it went smacking into the brick fence just above his head. But the shot was definitely on there for Franco Farinella, and it just kept rising over the crossbar. Perhaps APIA is starting to work through the gears. Farinella, no goals in the league this season, just the one in the cup. And winning the header here. Down to Ortiz, and Max Court takes possession with a great first touch. And he accelerates, not much on in front of him, and his attempt is blocked away immediately. Court, Australia under-17 international, who starting to increasingly become subject to transfer rumours away from APIA, but I'm sure they're desperately hoping he'll stay not just for the rest of the league season, but for the Australian Championship as well. Got news of a NWS Spirit goal. They lead 1-0 against St George. So we are now the only one of the 5 games active. Oh no, Manly and Sutherland also scores. We've got company. We've got the close one. Here's Ardanzia. Cycles the ball back to Lancaster. Now Williams. Lachlan Middleton. Here's Jared Middleton. Back to Williams. They're happy to sit very deep with their back four. Sydney FC patiently building up here. And a free kick just outside the penalty area. Sydney FC is saying it should be a penalty. There's a yellow card for Franz Deli. Oh, it's a close call. Lachlan Middleton was the player legged. James Slaveski, the assistant coach, and Jimmy Van Veeren, the head coach, are both protesting in earnest. Yeah, they're adamant it should be a penalty kick. I'm hearing words like sideways. And so Sophie Allam, the referee, has paid the free kick. Barely a step outside the area. Watching back, I think it's a good call from Sophie Allam, the referee. I've got the benefit of watching the stream back. It was a robust challenge, to say the least, from Delhi, and he'll have to watch his step from here. But the free kick has been given, and now Tay Headley, he'll look up at a 5-player APIA wall, and then Oliver Callat's on the goal line. This is Sydney FC's chance to take the lead. A line of players wait to follow in, but it's Headley. He'll strike direct on goal with a big deflection off the wall, and it's a corner. He went for power. So Headley, having just taken the free kick, now the resulting corner. Header from Shaw, nodded back into the box, and out without a touch from Williams. So arguably Sydney FC's best attacking phase of the night comes to an end without a strike on target. Farinella trying to bustle forward here. Just caught by the backtracking Marshall Witt. Glasson helping him out. Back pass from Jordan. Back to his goalkeeper. Stewart again calling for the switch of flanks, and he's not happy that his teammates aren't looking for him out on the wing. Now he gets possession, but Sydney FC awake to the danger. Stewart veering inside. Back pass. Shaw had to play it quickly. Controlled by Jordan. Stewart appearing and popping up on the left side to help out here. Cooter. Michael Cooter lays it short. Jack Stewart trying to cut inside. And he twists across to court. And it's going to run through the penalty area. Kishimoto bombing forward from right back. And he's happy to watch it out for APIA's first corner of the game. So Kishimoto leaves it, and running over to take the corner will be Franz Deli. So an APIA corner. Deli, flat delivery and taken by Fowler, and he just volleys to the safety of the touchline and is able to put it out. Half-time up at Cromer Park. Manly United 0, Sutherland Sharks 0. A scoreline that Sydney FC will probably be happy to hear. Sutherland, one of the teams, they're battling for the spots in the top 6. And Farinella here just clips the heels of Zinedine Ardanzia, and the Sydney FC sideline are up again. It's almost a combination. They've got various assistants approaching the fourth official, others shouting out to the middle. And just a telling off here for Farinella. He does not join his teammate Franz Deli in the book. There's been an equaliser at Belmore right on half-time. Sydney Olympic are level 2-2 against the Wollongong Wolves. Almost 20 minutes gone here at Leichhardt Oval. APIA trying to end a 3-game losing streak before they head into Australia Cup National Round of 32 action on Tuesday night. That's Adrian Uccino. You can hear the long-time APIA player from the sideline. Just the hup, hup, hup sound, trying to get the tempo up here from the APIA players. But it's Sydney FC who've got the ball. And Fowler misplaces a back pass, but Jared Middleton will clean it up comfortably enough. Williams, and now Marshall Witt. Headley leaves it with Kalen Marshall-Witt. Now Ardanzia. Marin France trying to make an impact on the game. Out to the right, Glasson takes possession against the line. Cooter came across and shut him down. Marin France. Nice little sidestep. Creates some separation. He's going to shoot from distance. And down goes Kalatz to his right to make the save. Parried away. And as players tumble over each other out on the wing, Tay Headley pops back up, able to play around Kishimoto, and then took on one player too many in Delhi. Well, he had stars in his eyes there. Tay Headley tried to do it all out on the left flank. Sydney FC sparking back to life here. They are proving a match for APIA through about a quarter of the night's action so far. Williams and Lockie Middleton looking for brother Jared out on the wing. Here's Arianzia, ran straight into the challenge of Moatamalo. And now Kuta to Rory Jordan. Delhi. Moatamalo. Sky clearance, the bounce has got a bit of backspin on it, just makes it a little difficult for Kyle Shaw. And his ball down the left has been intercepted by Glasson. He's trying to return it with interest here. Mitch Glasson slides it into the box. And backtracking players will chase it. Marin Francis first to the ball. Looping it high to the back post. Oh, a clattering collision and an appeal from Zach Fowler, but in fact it was Marshall Witt, the right back who'd got forward, who was the one impacted, but barely a half-hearted shout for a penalty kick and waved away. Moatamalo. Disappointment on the APIA sideline as possession is once again coughed up. Alexander Zavadinos just steering the ball from goal. Out to the right this time. Williams. Shaw leaping out. Second ball there to be won. Still a little bit disjointed at the moment for APIA Leichhardt, and that ball squeaks out for a goal kick. They do have a big squad, and they do rotate extensively. Looking at the bench today, they've got Fabian Monge, Eddie Caspers, a couple of central midfielders who would start at almost, if not every other team in NPL New South Wales. Michael Conestabo among the subs as well. Alex Denmead not on the bench at the moment. Cameron Fong started last week, out of the matchday squad today. Of course, they recently lost Oscar Gonzalez to the Newcastle Jets of the A-League. His last match was round 20, a couple of weeks ago now. Here's Court, able to turn, and well, he runs straight into trouble. Adianzia wrapped him up and won the ball away. And now the release pass from Glasson is going to bounce into the gloves of Kalatz. And Zach Fowler was making a run, but just couldn't make ground. He is an ideal player for the counter-attack, Fowler. And he's scored 3 in his last 4. So he comes in as the form player in the Sydney FC attack. He's only 3 of the season, admittedly, but chances even just to get on the bench were limited in the first half of the season, and he's really taken his opportunity as a starter in the second half of the campaign. We're now into the final third. It's round 23 today of the 30-game season. Marshall Witz. Good touch from Marshall Witt. Adianzia went for the back heel. Farinella able to intercept and burst in the other direction. Presley Ortiz, stand-up tackle from Williams, excellent. And he's set a task for Adianzia here to try and hold off Michael Kuta, who'd advanced up from left back. Farinella cleared comfortably enough by Lancaster. Centre back to centre back. Kyle Shaw with a long ball. Now caught. Marin France. Here's Tay Headley. Well, tried to find a gap where there wasn't one, really, and maybe almost a little unlucky not to win a corner as it got the better of Farinella and then rolled past everyone else. Oh, forceful back pass here from Farinella, but no issues dealing with it from Kalatz. Kishimoto looking for the run of Stewart, but sticking with him pace for pace was Jared Middleton, steering it out for a throw. Ortiz. Kishimoto. Ortiz. And the ball finds its way out for another throw in. Flags up here against Franz Deli. Ball had already gone out for a throw-in. We've hit a bit of a flat spot in the action, safe to say. Farinella not able to bring things back to life there. Deli scrambling and fouling Zinedine Adianzia. Lancaster showing us that left foot again over the head of Shaw. And Kuta, aware of the presence of Glasson, breaks out to the left touchline and clears. And just a subtle little grab on Farinella there leads to another free kick for APIA. Caught. Showed a lot of the ball to Adianzia there. And then Deli. He copped a blow on the way through, but the ball did find its way back to Kyle Shaw. And now possession taken over on the left by Kuta. Jack Stewart has popped up on the left flank here. And he's going to run at Jared Middleton. Middleton had a little nibble at the ball, and he successfully deflected it out off Stewart. And there's no protests coming from the APIA man. So it rolls out for a goal kick. Kishimoto plays it back to Kalatz. Bending clearance, Ortiz trying to find a way to the ball, but Lancaster won the header. Read it best. Kishimoto. Stewart trying to reconnect with Kuta, and the left back motoring into the contest. So heads down the line. Glasson challenging Shaw. APIA have made seemingly a permanent winger swap now, with Stewart going over to the left and Rory Jordan now playing on the right. Adianzia. Headley against Deli. Kishimoto sliding in, but the ball is going to break kindly here for Marshall Witt. He lifts a ball in and just a bit too much on it. Kishimoto is still going to have to be careful as he watches it out for a goal kick. There's been an equaliser at Christie Park. St George are now level 1-1 with NWS Spirit. As far as battling for the top 6 goes, Spirit outside at the moment. If they were to drop points tonight, that would be a massive advantage for the likes of Sydney FC, Rockdale, Sutherland. One of the main players outside the 6 would be dropping points to a relegation battler. Headley, Adianzia, now Glasson. First cross blocked straight back to him. Now with a little scoop pass, and it's cleared away by Moata Marlow. Stewart takes possession. Can he work through the gears here? Max Courts sprinting through the middle. Stewart is going to shoot from distance and put it wide right. Just didn't have the placement to bring it back on target there. Middleton, full 360 eventually on the ball, but he misses Headley with the pass. Does this open the door for APIA? Stewart. Kuda's really getting forward on the left here. Stewart will wait, and now he plays Kuda, and he just underhit the pass. However, it does lead to a corner. Glasson not taking any risks, but perhaps that typifies APIA's play tonight. Just a little bit off. They haven't had really any fluency in their passing or their link-up. A lot of it has been quite forced tonight, but they do have a set-piece opportunity. Delhi. Another flat corner. Caught with a volley. Excellent save. Zavadinos parried it initially and then dived on the spill. What a good strike that was from Max Court, the young talent, showing us what he can do. And APIA very nearly opening the scoring from a corner routine. That would have been a really nice way to open the scoring had it got the better of Zavadinos. Now Sydney FC looking for a response, and Jared Middleton with a low drive that couldn't find a deflection to get it back onto the target. Caught with 3 goals in the league this season and 1 in the cup. And he was free there for the volley, and he just adjusted the trajectory as he struck it, but the goalkeeper equal to it and making a good save. Highlight of the game so far. Well, Adrian Uccino playing ball boy, nearly taking a slip. Kuda looking for Farinella. He's led Adianzia to the ball. Stewart coming through on the outside. Stewart on the tight angle. What an excellent finish. And his personal streak of scoring against Sydney FC continues. 2 in the first meeting and now the opener tonight. And APIA, they had turned up the heat ever so slightly, and it leads to the opening goal. And the winger switch has worked out ideally for Jack Stewart. He started on the right, but he's popped up over on the left, and he's scored on an acute angle there.
7, Jack Stewart.
And on a night where APIA weren't quite clicking, they have found a way to open the scoring. Farinella with a good run. He just laid the ball off for Stewart, and he had the defender Marshall Witt in his wake, and he left the goalkeeper Zavadinos standing. He struck it with power, and he put it into the underside of the roof of the net. His 7th of the league campaign, Jack Stewart. He's got 2 in the cup for 9 total, and it takes him within 3 of the top scorer for the season at the club in Presley Ortiz. But a first half that started with a bit of deflated body language and a few choice words from Jack Stewart. Seems to be ending with a goal. Here's an attempt from Marin France, and Sydney FC respond with a shot on target, but they're not able to hit back straight away. And crucially, APIA on track to avoid the same fate as their title rivals Marconi and Sydney FC and Sydney United in games against Sydney FC, which is do not let them score first. They have their nose in front. Here's Max Court, nice little sidestep, and now he is going to wheel back around, and he can't find a teammate. He concedes possession here. Headley stripped of the ball by the midfield combo of Farinella and Delhi. And then Delhi just dawdled a little bit. He has to slide back in, and he's lost possession. Headley's going to set Glasson away here. It's a foot race between Glasson and Shaw, and Glasson draws a save out of Callatz. And Shaw certainly did well to cut off the angle there and keep pace with Glasson, forced him into the early shot. And with the angles in the goalkeeper's favour, Callatz is able to raise a hand and parry over the bar out for a corner. Sydney have been spurred into life by going behind here, though. I'll give you the live league table in a moment. Wait and see if Sydney FC cancel out this APIA lead straight away. Here's the corner. And lots of grabbing and grappling. Fowler and also Ortiz in each other's pockets, and the referee sees it as a break-even as the ball finds its way through the penalty area. So, Marconi, 52 points. They play the Western Sydney Wanderers at home tomorrow. APIA up to 51 points on the live league table. Their goal difference is 8 behind that of Marconi. So 1 point and 8 goals difference. The gap at the top of the league. And then Sydney United, they play tomorrow as well. They are on 45. So if APIA were to win tonight, they would open up a 6-point gap between second and third before tomorrow's action. Of course, it's a top 6, and the difference is that the 3v6 and the 4v5 have to go and play elimination finals, and 1 and 2 go straight to the semis. APIA have got their tails up here with just under 5 minutes of regulation until half-time. Farinella loses out this time to Headley, who kept the ball in the challenge. France. Lockie Middleton changes direction. Through the middle he ventures. And enough on that header from Shaw to lift it back to his goalkeeper. Huge throw out from Callatz into the attacking half, in fact. Almost like a through ball here for Farinella. And he's caught from behind, and the free kick will go against Zach Fowler. And he's in the book. Yellow card for the Sydney striker. And it's all down to the big overarm throw from Callatz in goal. And APIA now have a free kick in a dangerous position. Jordan Segredo came off the bench to take all the set pieces last weekend, but he's still stuck among the subs for now. So Presley Ortiz and Michael Cooter are mulling over this opportunity here. So here's Ortiz as the right-footed option and Cooter the left. Who will it be? It is Presley Ortiz, and he puts it over the crossbar and into the wall behind the goal without ever really threatening to dip the free kick in time. Strong aerial contest from Kishimoto. Headley conjures it to himself, and then the little chop step back heel was delightful. Ball over the top from Middleton, and he can't quite set Fowler away. Well, that was Jogo Bonito out of nowhere from Tay Headley. Sydney FC not quite able to turn it into an attempt on goal. They are trying to match up here in intensity at the end of the first half here. You can just see they've upped their ball speed as well. Williams. Back to Lancaster. Fourth official holding on to the board, about to lift it and display how many minutes of stoppage at the end of the first half. Sydney on a long string of passes here, but they continue to look up at a set APIA team behind the ball. Lancaster. It will be just the one additional minute at the end of the first half. Jared Middleton. He's had one attempt already that went wide. Headley. Springs to life here. Tay Headley bides his time. Laid it off for Glasson. He keeps it moving. Marshall Witt with the cross into the box. Headed away by Delhi. Glasson. And he's beaten to the ball by Farinoa. And now the counter-attack could be on here for APIA. The goal scorer, Jack Stewart, streaming forward. Got Ortiz to his left here. Stewart takes a little sidestep, and he showed too much of the ball to the defenders, and Middleton cleared it away. However, Cooter, time of the essence for both teams here at the end of the first half. Cooter holding onto the ball. And now a high looping pass coming in the direction of Ortiz, but it ran away and was held onto by the keeper. And the clock might beat both of these sides for anything else of note in the first half, unless APIA can really shift it here. Caught. And time up. So APIA do have their noses in front. It has not been the most fluid first half in terms of the football. Sydney FC certainly competitive in the match, but not prolific in terms of chance creation. And by contrast, APIA really not creating a huge number of chances, but when one came for Jack Stewart, he was able to finish on a tight angle as he ran in from the left. And his goal is the only one so far between the teams. APIA would move back to within a point of Marconi at the top of the league if they can close this out. But there's still 45 minutes to come. Off to the halftime break here. And in NPL Men's New South Wales, it's APIA Leichhardt 1, leading Sydney FC 0.
Every week, Hundreds of thousands of people turn up around football grounds around New South Wales. Parents, kids, refs, coaches and volunteers. Cardiac incidents can happen to anyone at any time on the pitch.
Right now, not every club has a defibrillator.
And the ones that do are not always maintained or ready to use. In a critical moment, with a defib, that could save lives. That's why Football New South Wales, St John Ambulance and Toyota have come together for Every Beat Matters to help clubs around New South Wales to access defibrillators, cover maintenance and build a register so we know exactly where every unit is around the state. All you need to do is buy a ticket through Raffletix. $5 can make a difference. Every ticket goes towards funding defibrillators and maintenance for clubs that need it most. A live fundraising board shows exactly how much is being raised. And every ticket you buy puts you in the draw to win a Toyota Corolla. One ticket, real impact. Help your club be ready when it matters. So buy your ticket today.
Here's Sutherland. FC, midweek played SD Raiders. 1-1-0. Great strike and set it up now, Farah. Delivers it beautifully. He's onside here. Just has to pull the trigger. While Prendergast made the initial save, the rebound to Fowler. Zach Fowler scores. Comes back to the left. This is Harm. Moving around, works it in. Get out of the way. Then another hit! I tell you what, this time he's got his goal. He was wanting it, and he's finally got it. Now the ball comes back to Pufflet. Now Woods. Woods shots! That seals the deal. Sean Woods gets the goal. He's second for the season and could well be the match winner. He goes back in situation for Sydney FC. And a shot! Holy Toledo! Right on the striker full time. Tay Headley has delivered a great goal.
Base, but not used to receiving possession as Maya gets it back. Franco Maya! That is spectacular! What a goal from Franco Maya! Some strong challenges in the middle of the park now from both teams. Cross into Armson. Jack Armson! Doubles the lead.
Thought about going for it first time. But where's that wide to Katrib? Good ball across. Abdul Rahman! Western Sydney opened the scoring on the 10-minute mark. McEwen, and that is a very strong challenge. And the free kick taken even quickly. Armanakis now. Great ball through. Kakucha gets onto it first. Sebastian Kakucha! That's a great shot and good save by Curto, but not enough, and it falls into the back of the net. And it's Lachlan Sitaut.
Delhi caught in possession. Hollingdale spills it. Diego Padilla blocked away. Great defending from Kishimoto. The through ball from Meyer. Delightful! What a finish and what a goal! Yanni Nicolau! Segreto telegraphed the ball and he found a way past Meyer. Rory Jordan breaking into the box. Ortiz! A precise finish comes from Mafuka. Given away. Vanilla runs laterally. Oh, Vanilla! Goodness gracious! What a goal! So Jordan Segreto has run over from the right side to the left to take this corner kick. Delivery to the near post, glancing on an end, all the way through. Long throw, turn in the penalty area, blocked, and the follow-up safe, and then at close range it's in. Tasman and the Rongan. Sutherland have found a third.
A goal right in the shadows of half-time. Big goal indeed for David Perkovic's men. Great cross. Griffiths! There's the opener!
Again, directly into his face, Telmakovsky pauses, waits, looks for Constable in. Constable takes a touch, takes a second touch, bearing down on goal. Constable with the shot! Constable with the goal! In the 21 jersey, Noah Peacock. Looks like Corey Cavan is coming on as well here. Now, chance for goal! Oh, from nothing! From absolutely nothing. The ball has broken free for Sam Armson.
Geisen can clip it forwards. Awkward one for Beatty to deal with, and rushing through on goal now. Here's an opportunity, and it's placed into the corner. Shaked has work to do back. And now to find Lewis Curry, and it's still there for the midfielder. And finds the corner. It's 2-0 to the visitors. Duarte. Hugo Cornish lines up a strike. Dipping effort off the bar. And Scott heads in. And the Wolves halve the deficit. Dream start to the second half. Well, it was a diving header that looked to in an awkward position. Hernandez's ball in this time. And it's a fantastic header from Yuto Fujita. Can find Fujita. Skips inside, Fujita still going. And buries a beauty. Yuto Fujita has turned this game around for the Wolves. Mitri, that ball's floated in. Berry still has it there. Tep is there, and it is in the goal. Bundled over the line, and it's 3-3. Not the prettiest of
Welcome back to Leichhardt Oval, not far away from kick-off at the start of the second half in this NPL Men's New South Wales Round 23 clash, where at half-time APIA Leichhardt lead 1-0 against Sydney FC. The goal from Jack Stewart, a familiar face, given he scored both goals when the teams met in the first head-to-head earlier this season. Certainly been a competitive game, not exactly full of a flurry of chances so far tonight. Hopefully we do see just a bit of a step up in the action in the second 45 to entertain us all. Of course, it's a results business, though. APIA will be happy that it's their noses in front at present, and they will kick off attacking the left of your screens here in the second half. It appears as though they've made one half-time change. Sean Simmons has come on, and he's starting at left back, and it appears as though it is like for like with Michael Cooter. And so we're back underway with APIA consolidating possession with Temba Mwatamalo, and he plays it to Max Court, and an almost instantaneous foul to start the second half here from Sydney FC. Looking at Sydney FC, they appear to have the same 11 that started the game. Here's Marin France challenging for the ball. Tay Headley trying to explode down the left sideline, and Aijin Kishimoto gets across and plays the ball back to Oliver Callat. So one half-time sub, Michael Cooter off, and Sean Simmons in the number 16 shirt comes on. There's been goals around the grounds during the half-time break. This should, all things considered, be the final game of 5 this evening to finish. Bringing you up to speed on all of those and what it's done to the table. Had a suitable break in play right now, though. Farinella is battling against Zinedine Hadianzia for possession. Now Mitch Glasson plays it back. Cleared away by Tyler Williams. And a wrestle on for Zach Fowler. Not able to convince the referee, Sophie Allam, that there was a free kick. Caught trying to roll through in midfield, but a good touch from Williams to win the ball away. Now, as both teams appeal for possession, the throw-in is going to go in favour of Sydney FC. So, around the grounds, 73rd minute, Sydney Olympic have retaken the lead against Wollongong Wolves. They now lead 3-2. Sutherland Sharks have taken a 1-0 lead away at Cromer Park against Manly United. Blacktown City have opened up a 3-1 lead against the SD Raiders at Ernie Smith. So you see a cross-field clearance here. Sydney FC trying to capitalise. Fowler shoots with a deflection. And that did enough to take it well wide of the target, out for a corner, but there was a potentially hair-raising clearance out of the APIA defence, and Sydney FC tried to seize upon it. They've turned it into the first corner in the second half. Of course, here we're 1-0, and NWS Spirit and St George FC are currently 1-1. And there is one more match later tonight, St George FC hosting UNSW. That kicks off in just over half an hour at Penshurst Park, a 7:15 kickoff. Here's Headley with an out-swinging corner, and the half volley from Lancaster on his non-preferred right foot is lifted out for a goal kick. Harmless in the end. So the live table, Marconi with a game in hand on 52, APIA 51, Sydney United playing tomorrow on 45, Sutherland 38, Rockdale 36, and then Sydney FC would be on 34 in 6th place, ahead of Wollongong 32, and Northwest Sydney Spirit on 31, and that is because Spirit have just retaken the lead 2-1 against St George FC. So not the scoreline that the Sky Blues would have been hoping to hear in their battle for the top 6. In fact, they're losing, and all their rivals around them, Sutherland, Spirit, they're all winning. I guess the good news is that Wollongong Wolves could potentially be tripping up. They are currently 3-2 down to Olympic with 15 minutes to go, so maybe they can get a favour there. Of course, the Western Sydney Wanderers away at Marconi tomorrow. That's a game with, well, similar to this one, implications for the title and implications for the top 6. Here's Williams playing the ball across now to Zavadinos. He plays it into the airspace of Kyle Shaw. Glasson following up. Tough bouncing ball to control. Farinella pushes it on. It's coming back though through Arianzia. And now Marin France. He's really trying to get into the game here, France. He veers through midfield, has to concede some ground. And now plenty of numbers behind the ball. Marshall Witt. Cuts it inside. Glasson. Headley. Now Glasson, a long way from the target. France turns out to the left. And now clipped into the box, hoping for Marshall Witt. Shaw heads away. The APIA defence resisting everything at the moment. Sydney FC need a creative spark. Glasson able to wrestle away from Court. He turns back inside. Well, big goal up at Cromer. Manly United have levelled against Sutherland. And now Glasson. Here's the cross. Couldn't find Fowler. Good intervention from Temba Muatamalo. Fowler was flying in to try and volley at close range. And the defender denied him the chance at the ball. Long chain of passes for Sydney FC. They're enjoying the ball and the territory here. Not dissimilar to the first 10 minutes of the first half, where APIA just couldn't get out of their defensive half. Sydney FC weren't turning it into any volume of chances, though. That's the issue. Can they find a cutting edge? Here's Headley. He takes on Delhi. And then Delhi back in and wins the ball away. Court. He's going to offer it straight back up to Williams. France. Fowler's touch a little heavy. And that means APIA can emerge. Ortiz back to goal. Out to Saya Kambiashi. He's come on as well for APIA. So it's a new look left side. Ortiz. Through for Simmons. And Simmons can burst forward. Sean Simmons, into the box he goes. He's going to shoot and put it across the face. Almost trying to create a mirror image of the first half goal from Jack Stewart. And I believe it is Jack Stewart who's also made way for Saya Kambiashi. So 2 subs for APIA have been made. Stewart and Kuda off for Kambiashi and Simmons. APIA's first shot in anger of the second half, taking 7 minutes. Desperate one-on-one defending from Kishimoto leads to giving away a free kick. Sydney FC bounce up and take it quickly. Adianzia came unstuck. Farinella distributing out to the left. Kambiashi, he's going to provide a test for Marshall Witt, but the defender is back first to the ball. Williams over to Lancaster. Patient build-up from Sydney FC. Tyler Williams. Glasson looks up at Simmons. Nicely played by Lockie Middleton. And now the through ball. Fowler glancing it down. He takes it wide. Glasson. It'll fall kindly here for Tay Headley. Headley weaving across the top of the box. Plenty of APIA numbers back. Creating a defensive line. The Sydney FC are struggling to breach. Marin France goes to work. A couple of little step overs. Now he tries to get some separation, but Farinella steps out. And the block tackle knocks the ball away. Well, Glasson finds Zinedine Adianzia. And he tries to breeze past Muatamalo, who went to ground and did enough. And now back on his feet. He's floored once again. And that free kick will get APIA out of a jam. Sydney FC, 10 minutes into the second half, showing us a bit of intent. Again, a reticence to shoot, though, is what's hurting them at the moment. And we've got a player down, and it looks like it's Franco Farinella, who has taken a seat here. And he was just, on his haunches behind play. He wasn't part of the challenge that won the free kick for APIA, but he has summoned the trainer here. So, paperwork has been handed to the fourth official, and it looks as though Michael Conostarbo has been gone to do the last stages of his warm-up. So if it's Farinella coming off, it might be a double change. Fabian Monge has been summoned as well, so I suspect that they were already preparing Conostarbo to come on, and now, at short notice, Fabian Monge is going to have to come on here as well. Massive turnaround up at Cromer. Manly United have gone into a 2-1 lead against the Sutherland Sharks, so that could be a huge result in the battle for Australian Championship and also for the top six. They've come from the clouds here, Manly. 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to open up a 2-1 lead. I wonder if we'll get a similar sort of late drama here. APIA, having had the time to mull over it, are going to make it a triple substitution. Franz Deli, who was carrying a yellow card from the first half, is going to come off as well. So it's Presley Ortiz, Franco Farinella, and also Franz Deli who come off. And on come Fabian Monge in number 19, Eddie Caspers in number 22, and now Michael Conostarbo in number 8, and it has pushed Max Court seemingly into centre forward with Presley Ortiz taking his leave. So APIA in a 1-0 lead, and they've already made all 5 substitutions before the hour mark. So safe to say these are decisions perhaps with not just their league chase, but also the pile-up of fixtures and Tuesday night's Australia Cup tie against the Peninsula Power in mind as well. Caspers with an introduction, a pass that's been intercepted. Can Sydney FC try to capitalise on any disruption? APIA having made all 5 subs in the 15 minutes of the second half. Here's France. Headley. Had Middleton on the outside, but he wanted to forage forward himself and ultimately couldn't get past the APIA defence. As Kishimoto sinks the slipper, and with the aid, well, no deflection. It's assistant referee signalling that it's a Sydney FC throw, but they don't have a ball over on the outer side, so we'll have to wait for the ball kids to go and retrieve it and throw it back. But yes, around the grounds with 5 minutes to go. Sydney Olympic 3, Wollongong Wolves 2. About to tick into stoppage time. Manly United now leading Sutherland Sharks 2-1. In stoppage time, SD Raiders 1, trailing Blacktown City 3. And just after the hour mark, Northwest Sydney Spirit 2, leading St George FC 1. So this is the lowest scoring, definitely, of the 5 games concurrently active. But it does have significant implications for the title and top 6 race. So Caspers into the game. Here's Court. And he's just been scragged there by Lancaster. Perhaps fortunate not to concede a foul in the other direction. And he's going to receive the ball, and Lancaster resumes the duel. Has some help from Williams coming across. And that will see the ball out for a throw-in. Here's Glasson. Pass into the midfield. Headley, it was just kicked into his shins, and that ricochets it kindly down to Callas. So we've crossed the hour mark. APIA has been a hive of activity. Sydney FC continue to toil away. Simmons. That appeared to bounce out. Indeed it did. Kambiashi. Caspers back to Saya Kambiashi. And now Sean Simmons with a deflected pass. And that will run down to Zavadinos. Marshall with, again, lots of shouting from the APIA bench to try to motivate the press. Little back heel from Jordan, Monge. Now Rory Jordan. And Lancaster has outplaced Court in the lead back for the ball. Sidestep was clever from Middleton. That allows Sydney F3 through Adianzia to try and escape the defensive half. No foul given. APIA have the ball back through Monge. Fowler now can face forward. Eddie Caspers desperately back with a slide challenge. Able to win possession. Through the right. Court. Sizing up his options. And then maybe just half a second late for Rory Jordan with that pass. Sydney FC with it all to do. Zavadinos, Sydney FC, holding possession comfortably enough, but not in dangerous territory. Middleton, and now Headley clips the ball out to the left. Marin France advancing onto the ball. One-on-one against Kishimoto, and then Rory Jordan helped out, made it two. Twisted back, Middleton. Jared plays it to Lockie, now back to Jared. And possession one away. Not much on for APIA ahead of the ball as it's cleared from Kambiashi. James Slavesky, one of the assistant coaches, engaged in a bit of gamesmanship with Sean Simmons there. Now Kambiashi trying to sidestep. Big wrap-up tackle from Marshall Witt. The referees let them play. Through steps Martin Marlowe. Trying to take the game on. Middleton and France, and now Adianzia. Monge just throwing himself about. So's Caspers standing up to the physicality. And then backtracking Glasson knocks the ball away. Maybe tension's just starting to rise here in the game as well. Sydney FC giving a couple of additional subs their briefing. Kambiashi. Court starved of the ball as Williams wins the header away. Cuts it into the middle, given away to Monge. Can APIA turn and go? Conestogo get to really make his mark off the bench. Jordan. Burst of acceleration from Rory Jordan, and that is a textbook slide tackle coming in from Jared Middleton to win the ball away. And now Tay Headley can turn and go. Headley down the left flank he ventures. Veering in, he was surrounded by APIA players and he might have had his foot trodden on there. He looks a bit sore, but no foul forthcoming. I can tell you it's full time up at Cromer Park. Manly with an upset win against the Sutherland Sharks, so that will be a welcome result for all the other teams battling for spots in the top six. Sydney FC among them. I think all eyes might turn to the game that's only slightly ahead of ours between Northwest Sydney Spirit and also St George FC, because Spirit, one of these teams that's trying to capitalise if Sutherland and Sydney FC were to lose this weekend and they can hold on to their current 2-1 scoreline at the 70-minute mark, then they would be squarely back in the top six race themselves as the ladder compresses just a little bit this weekend. Sydney FC have got a double change in the wings. Junior Conde and Corey Cronin. Here's a pass from Caspers. It's an incisive ball. It's been missed by Zavadinos, and a gift has been presented. APIA score. And Michael Conestogo is the beneficiary of a defensive lapse from Sydney FC. Eddie Caspers with an initially teasing ball, and then it proved too hot to handle for the goalkeeper Zavadinos. Sydney FC are protesting around the referee in the aftermath. Watching back on the stream, well, I don't think there's much of a claim there from the goalkeeper. He didn't appear to have two hands on the ball at the time it spilt out. And it was Michael Conestogo who was able to put the ball in the back of the net.
Goal for APIA Leichhardt. The substitute, number 8, Michael Conestogo. APIA Leichhardt 2.
And the Sydney FC bench, through James Slaveski, continue to argue their case. I think that, their contention must have been that Zavadinos had taken possession of the ball, perhaps, but I don't know. Looking at it on the replay, there doesn't seem to be much of an argument that he was in possession and then dispossessed by the goal scorer, Conestogo. It is a bit of a baffling moment, truth be told, but APIA won't care. They're 2-0 up. And off come Mitch Glasson and also Zach Fowler for Corey Cronin in the number 47 shirt and Junior Conde in the number 11. Maybe he's arguing, I was watching back on the stream, maybe he's arguing he got his arm trodden on. It's a tough one. The moment has passed. It's 2-0 to APIA. And so Sydney FC, having made this double change and taken off two of their leading scorers this season, Glasson with 8 and Fowler with 3, representing first and a tie for third on their scoring charts. The kids are now going to have to just dig that little bit deeper if they want anything out of tonight. It's now the same scoreline that these two produced at the Hillenden Sports Centre in the first head-to-head meeting. And even though it hasn't been quite as comfortable for APIA tonight as it was in that game, the circumstances of this scoreline don't appear to be under any significant threat. It's going to have to take a major change in character in the game for Sydney to find a way to get back into the contest from here. Cronin, first involvement for him off the bench. Now Williams. Of course, APIA's goal difference is significantly behind that of Marconi, so while they do have a Tuesday night cup tie to think about, the 11 that's out there at the moment have every incentive to try and go on with the job here. and add to the current 2-0 scoreline. APIA plus 21, Marconi plus 28. Marconi at home to the Western Sydney Wanderers tomorrow. Lancaster. Jared Middleton's pass now. Junior Conde, Lockie Middleton in central midfield. Tay Headley, he's had a lot of touches. Can he bring teammates into things here? A quick network of passes. Headley extracts a shot. And a big deflection takes it behind for a corner. And that was really nice into play in the traffic from Tay Headley. Quick 1-2s with two of his teammates, but the shot blocked as soon as he took it. Quickly taken corner. Trying to slip into the box now was Headley, but he's been dispossessed by Rory Jordan, and it's out for a goal kick. I can tell you that the full-time whistle has now gone at Belmore. Sydney Olympic 3 have defeated the Wollongong Wolves 2, so massive result with relegation and top 6 implications, and it's also full-time at Ernie Smith Reserve, and Blacktown City have taken a 3-1 win against SD Raiders. So a couple of massive, massive results in the relegation battle. Not overly relevant to these two teams. What is that Wollongong Wolves have missed the opportunity tonight to leapfrog Sydney FC on the table. They will stay on 32. Sydney FC in 6th are currently on 34. But there could be more trouble afoot for their defence here. Jordan. Kishimoto on the overlap. Kishimoto's low ball. Conestabo off the post. And it's a save from Zavadinos that deflected it into the woodwork. That was nearly a double off the bench for Michael Conestabo. And now Sydney FC, having narrowly avoided the knockout punch, could be about to breathe life back into things here. No, the offside flag is up against Corey Cronin. That could have been a massive swing. Avoid going 3-0 down at one end and then a through ball at the other. So Sydney FC, they're not going to lose ground on Sutherland as they have lost away at Manly. They're 1 point behind. They're not going to be leapfrogged by Wollongong. They've been defeated tonight. But NWS Spirit, in a game that's only 4 minutes ahead of this one, lead 2-1 against St George FC. So we could have a situation where 4th placed Rockdale and 9th placed Manly are separated by just 6 points. And that's with Western Sydney Wanderers with a chance to jump up to 32 points and plonk themselves right in the middle of it with their game tomorrow. Admittedly, a game where they will start as underdogs against Marconi, but we could see a significant compression of the ladder right around the battle for 6th this weekend. And it's also advantaged Rockdale in the pursuit of the Australian Championship spot, even though they're away at Sydney United tomorrow. A pretty tough assignment, but let's not forget they only just won 2-0 away at APIA a couple of weekends ago, so they'll bring plenty of confidence out to King Tom tomorrow, and they could potentially break 4 points clear in the battle for the Australian Championship spot, which is the highest finisher on the table of the non-original members. So this is really a question of how much belief does Sydney FC have that they can find a way to score tonight. Can they plant a seed of doubt in APIA? We're going to see a couple of subs not too far away. Josh Brissett and also William Pizzuti being readied. Here's a long shot, blocked away by Kyle Shaw. Adianzia having a ping from distance. Headley not able to get past Monge on that occasion. Caspers, Conestabo, good 1-2. Only caught ahead of the ball though. Caspers braced for contact. He was trying to buy a foul there and the referee did not oblige. Cronin. Simmons knocking it all the way back to Kyle Shaw. Kambiashi. Well, rare giveaway from Saya Kambiashi, and now he's scrambling to get back in position. The cross here looking for Conde. Shaw had to get up and then headed behind for a corner kick by Temba Moatamalo. He was trying to put it in the gloves of his goalkeeper. But a little bonus here for Sydney FC. And they do have this double change ready to go. And even though they have won a corner, they're going to action it. And so Josh Brissett is coming on for his set. No, they're going to wait. They've decided to... The referee may have pointed to the sideline. Yep, the double change is happening. Don't take the corner too quickly. It would be 11 versus 9. So senior debut for Josh Brissett, and William Pizzuti comes on, the mid-season arrival from NWS Spirit. He's on for his second appearance in Sky Blue. Here comes the corner. It's going to slide on. And Moatamalo with a solid defensive header away. Kambiashi back to Simmons. And then Monge with a deflected header on. Cronin. And through comes Lancaster, and that pass firmly struck down to the goalkeeper. But yes, congratulations to 17-year-old Joshua Brissett coming on for his first NPL senior appearance. An aerial back and forth. Kyle Shaw. Now it hits ground level. Conestogo. Monge. Back to Kishimoto. Moatamalo being pressed by Conroy, but Kalatz is comfortable. And now Shaw out to the wing where Kambayashi waits. He's got Simmons on, and the ball finds Simmons now. He's not going to the corner, though. He's going to swing it into the box. And it gets the better of Conestogo at the near post. For those of you rejoining us on the stream, Jacob Brissett, the goal scorer for Sydney FC, that has set up this nervous finish here for APIA Leichhardt. But they continue to hold the 2-1 lead at present. Sydney FC are throwing everything at them, though. France concedes a bit of ground. Tay Headley. And Caspers knocks the ball away from him. We've played 2 of the 4 additional minutes, but the referee might be generous because we have had a little knock to Kishimoto during that first minute of stoppage time. Maybe add on another 30 seconds, maybe another minute even. APIA have won the ball, and the whistle goes for a foul just when Court thought he was away at the halfway line. And instead, it's Sydney FC who have a set piece. This could be so important in terms of the destination of the title. Headley puts it to the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's catching practice for Ollie Kalatz, and he takes the ball all the way to the ground. And so, of the original 4 minutes, we've now played 3. Simmons. He just sinks the slipper and drives it long. Out for a Sydney throw. I can tell you that Spirit are going to win. They're now 3-1 up against St George FC, so they can put 3 more in the bank in their pursuit of the top 6. Right back in the picture based on results elsewhere this weekend, including this one right here as it stands. Caspers. Now Kambayashi. He looks up at Pizzuti. Simmons clipping it forward and away from Conestogo once again, but he just kicks it out into the stands and gets himself a yellow card for his trouble. So that'll take us to the 4 minutes of injury time expired. Now it's entirely at the referee's discretion. Zavadinos goes long over the head of Conroy. Moatamalo is there. Caspers into Middleton's challenge. He's grabbing and grappling here. Middleton and a free kick, and it will be one last chance for Sydney. One more set piece to put the ball in the box and create havoc. And Zavadinos, the goalkeeper, has been called into the attacking half to send this long. Our Sydney FC, who have beaten Marconi and Sydney United this season, are they about to have one more say on the title race? Zavadinos' high ball. It's all APIA at the fall. Kishimoto heads away. Lancaster dispossessed. And that might do it for APIA. Ball played into the midfield. Court has it all to himself here. The goalkeeper's back on his line, though. Court advancing. Now support from Jordan. Court goes for it. And it sails out for a goal kick. But that will be the final act of the game. APIA have made hard work of it, but they do bank all 3 points against Sydney FC, and they complete a season double against the Sky Blues. 2-0 away, 2-1 at home, and it allows them to close back to within 1 point of Marconi at the top of NPL Men's New South Wales, ahead of Marconi's game against the Western Sydney Wanderers tomorrow. So Jack Stewart in the first half made it 1-0. Michael Conestogo 2-0 in the second half. And then even though Joshua Brissett, I should say, came off the bench to score on his NPL senior debut, the full-time score is APIA Leichhardt 2, Sydney FC 1. Thanks for your company on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. My name's Teo Pellizzeri. Good night.